Before I start today's video, I first like to state this. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. You finally fixed my comment section. Now, I just watched my video on the Jets releasing Le'Veon Bell, and I see the comments. So now people can finally comment on my video. So thank you, YouTube, okay? After weeks of trying to figure it out. Was it a me problem? Even though I went into the settings and fixed the settings months ago, the comments are finally available. Hopefully we can continue the streak. Hopefully the comments will be on this particular video, because this is going to be a long video, and it's going to be a lot of naysayers coming out of the woodworks of these social media streets. A lot of people are going to say that I'm hating and all this, that, and the third. Let's get into it. All right. So congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers. They won the championship with the bubble format, even though the majority of the NBA players was not looking forward to playing the remaining games in the bubble as far as the playoffs and stuff. Everyone was suspect about the ideal, but everyone, just went along with it, and we got a champion. The Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James, won his fourth title. Okay, congratulations to LeBron James. Congratulations to the Lakers organization. Even though not a lot of people watch these games, even though a lot of people are blaming other factors why they're not supporting or watching the games, that's neither here nor there. I did a video on that, by the way. So now they're talking about, all the critics, all the sports personalities out there are now looking forward into next season. And it just goes to show you guys that, and it's almost like 2 months away. It just goes to show you guys how no one truly respects this season, how the season started, the playoffs, as well as the NBA finals. Everyone's already looking forward to the next following seasons. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Chris, that happens all the time. We're always looking forward to the next season. But not this fast, folks. Not this fast. We don't crown a champion, and when we don't crown a champion and then we start looking forward to next season. It doesn't happen that way. And it just goes to show you that a lot of people just wanted to hurry up and get this over with. Just finish the season, all right? And I told you guys they would have been better off just suspending the season and starting a whole new season, particularly when we got the COVID crisis somewhat under control. And we somewhat got it under control. The pandemic is not as serious as it once was when it started last season. Okay, we're a lot smarter, a lot wiser, and we're taking precautions, okay? And there's hopefully going to be a vaccine along the way that's going to eliminate it out of people's bodies, okay? We're going to treat COVID just like the common flu, okay? But that's neither here nor there. So everyone's looking forward to next season. And the odds makers are saying that the Lakers can repeat. They can seriously repeat. All right? I have a problem with that. Let's talk about the same naysayers that said the Toronto Raptors were going to repeat after they won their championship. And then when Kawhi Leonard hopped on a jet and went to the Clippers, and then they got Paul George, now those same naysayers were saying, well, it's obvious the Clippers are going to win the title, right? Naysayers, they switch their viewpoints like seasons, all right? They're never consistent. And I'm here to tell you the road is going to be tougher for the Lakers to repeat than it was this year. Next year, you're not going to have all these factors playing to your favor. Starting the season, suspending the season, a long layoff, going into the bubble format, almost suspending the season yet again due to social injustice issues. They almost was on the eve of suspending the seasons, even in the bubble format. And then they just went along and continued the rest of the playoffs and the NBA Finals. You're not going to have that luxury where you can take off for like a month or maybe 2 months. And I told you guys when they was talking about starting the season and into this bubble format, I told you guys it was going to really benefit teams that, that have been together the most, veteran teams. Okay, the long layoff will benefit them. Now, when it comes to younger rosters, it's not going to benefit them because they are in a custom of the NBA as a marathon. Okay, and last season was a bunch of sprints. Start the regular season, sprint, suspend the regular season, wait a couple of months. Okay, you're doing a bubble format, sprint, almost suspend the season. You took a couple of weeks off, sprint again to the playoffs and into the finals. You're not going to have that luxury again next year. A lot of people are talking about just playing the games, at the stadiums, which they're using the NFL as a test subject, and it's working pretty well for the NFL, minus a few exceptions. There have been teams that have players testing positive for COVID-19, but it's not a multitude of players in the NFL. And the NFL has went as far as suspending a game till later on, but still finishing it in the same week. So instead of like the Titans and the Bills game, it was slated Sunday. They suspended it and they played it yesterday. And I think the NBA is going to be doing that as well. All right. If, it crops up and it turns out when they test, and they're going to test their players daily. And if there's like if it's a handful of players, which I don't think so, you may have maybe one or two players on each team testing positive. But I think with the technology that they have in place, with what they did with the bubble format, they're going to be better prepared, better, wiser, taking better precautions, and quickly making decisions where it doesn't spread and affect on the roster as well as the other team's roster. All right. I think they're going to have crowds. They're not going to be jam packed, but they're going to have crowds, similar to what the NFL just now starting to have crowds. At the Titans versus the Bills, they allowed crowds in the stadium. The stadium wasn't jam packed because they had the stadium set up to where they can somewhat monitor and do social distance in a stadium. Okay. And I think they're going to do that as well as NBA stadiums. All right. So they're going to continue the season. They're not going to have any stops along the way. It may be a certain period of time where there's going to be a couple of teams where they're going to suspend the game, but they're going to reschedule that game and play that game at a later date later that week. I think, that's one thing that they can do. And when that's going to gel more to a younger roster that's accustomed and used of playing just about every other day. When it comes to older veterans, it's not going to work as well for them. They're accustomed to long layoffs. They don't mind playing 2 games a week or 3 games a week. They don't want to do the back-to-backs. Okay? The NBA, first they got to get past the collective bargaining agreement. And that's going to pass real fast, real quick. Then they're going to plan the season. There's expectation that the season is going to start for next season. Next season is going to start on Christmas Day. That's literally almost about 2 months and change away. Okay. So that's going to, and they're just going to go ahead and start the season, Christmas Day, and work their way until it's going to be a shortened season. They're not going to play 82 games, obviously, but you're not going to have stops along the way during the season. And that's going to be very beneficial for a younger roster that's accustomed of playing a lot of games with not a lot of rest time. It's going to really be accustomed to not only younger rosters, but athletic rosters that are able to move up and down the court quite fast at a alarming rate. So, particularly rosters that their primary they run up and down the court and set each other up on play action. I'm thinking about the NFL with screens and with high screens, and I think the midway jumper is going to be really prevalent in next season. Okay, and they're going to get back into throwing the ball around the court. Well, setting up their offense and allowing the ball to flow into each other's hands. I think that's going to benefit shooters. That's what I'm trying to blur out. I wasted so much time saying it, but it's going to benefit shooters. It's going to benefit the Golden State Warriors. It's going to benefit the Brooklyn Nets. It's going to benefit the Boston Celtics. It's going to benefit the Utah Jazz. It's going to benefit if they re-sign Carmelo Anthony somewhat to the Portland Trailblazers. The Portland Trailblazers can take some advantages from this, by the way. All right. And the Phoenix Suns. So, 2 months in, 2 months later, this new format is going to benefit so many other teams. Yes, it's going to benefit the Clippers. If the Clippers keep their present day roster, add a veteran here and there, that can go a long way for the Clippers. I feel like this is anybody's title to have. And, people, and like I said in my last video, just like the strikes shortened season when the San Antonio Spurs won it, nobody talked about it. After they won the championship, nobody talked about it. Everyone considered it an asterisk because it was a shortened season, okay? They kind of rushed to it, all right? They're just trying to hurry up and finish the season. And I think that's what's going to happen with this the bubble format. Even though it's going to be in the record book, it's going to be in the Hall of Fame. It's going to be a crowning achievement. But when you start digging deeper and talking about the Lakers winning the title, a lot of people are not going to talk too much about that. They're going to talk about the other aspects of it more so than I think it's the caveat. The appetizer is going to be about, well, the Lakers won. LeBron James won his 4th ring. All right. And that's pretty much it. All right. But when you look at next season and beyond, it's anybody's title to win. All right. Anybody can get this title. I don't see it clearly like the rest of these naysayers and these analysts and these predictors and the people that do the bets in Vegas. They're clearly seeing it as the Los Angeles Lakers can definitely repeat. I think they have a long uphill climb to go, and they're not going to have all these breaks. Now, these same breaks also benefited the other team. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused. But it really benefited older veteran teams. The long layoff, the rest in between games, staying, the travel. You eliminated traveling. All right. They basically played their games, walked to their hotels. That was it. That benefited older teams, older veteran teams. Okay. So when you're looking at it from that perspective, I just don't see the Lakers. This is easily a repeat for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised. To be truthfully honest, the Lakers are going to have to rebuild their roster. A lot of those players are free agents. They're going to have to shuffle the decks, try to get Anthony Davis into some type of agreement. Okay, even though there's reports out there that saying that he wants to wait on that. So you got a lot of factors playing against you. I feel like how the long layoff benefited the Lakers, the suspension midway through the season, how that benefited the Lakers and the rosters. But when you look at it, for 2 months, you just crowned a champion. 2 months, you got the collective bargaining agreement. You also got the draft, and then you're starting the next season. It doesn't benefit the Lakers when you're rushing to the next season. This doesn't benefit and holds well for the Los Angeles Lakers from that perspective. And it's going to be a grind rush marathon next season. They're expecting that, they're going to play the games in their own stadiums. You got to factor in travel. You have to, factor in how much rest time you're getting now versus the rest time you got in the bubble format. Okay. So, you got a lot of factors that people are not factoring in for next year's title run. But nevertheless, congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers. Congratulations to LeBron James winning his 4th title. This is not hate. I'm just saying the Los Angeles Lakers is not as easy as everyone is stating. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to repeat. Right? So, it's your boy. I'm up out of here. Deuces.